Hey boys, welcome back to Sarcastic Remarks. Welcome to everyone, all of those who are watching live. If you're watching live, please consider clicking like and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, or even if you're listening after, do that, and also hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Sarcastic Remarks. And alongside Chris, my name is Ryan. We are the official Dallas Stars podcast at THPN. Thank you to our sponsors, DraftKings Sportsbook. That promo code, once again, is THPN. Chris, I don't know what else to say about this team and about that game here tonight, but that was one of the most fantastic games from both teams that I have watched in a very long time, between any two teams, and a very long time.
Yeah, when you talk just pure quality of hockey that we saw on the ice, I mean, that's got to be one of, if not the best that we've seen in the playoffs thus far. Obviously, the Game 7 against the Avalanche takes the cake as far as the storyline goes. But if you just look as hockey purists, quality of hockey, quality of goaltending, that was just that was artwork on the ice out there.
The work of art. All right, anyways. We got 2 super chats already. We're going to bring in
massive
Ryan,
one from Ryan.
Wow, 55 for Harley. OT Magician, Otter's better. Moving on. Time to whip up another Canadian team. Dallas Stars, what a game. My BP is touching Neptune. High five, Chris. I am donating the super chat on a deep and intimate level.
High five, Ryan. I love you on an important, emotional, and yes, a deep and intimate level as well. Thank you, Ryan. That's an amazing super chat. Thank you so much.
So I
missed one more from Nate G. Nate G got one. He said the stars at night are big and bright. Clap, 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 clap. Deep in the heart of Texas. The classic from Nate G. Thank you, Nate.
Of course, and he has to be here and to say it, right?
He's always got that.
He's
line.
Always here. It's a tradition now. So, I want to start with the heavier stuff first off, because then we can talk more about all of the exciting stuff. But I want to start it with this. And we got to start off with first acknowledging the elephant in the room with Mark Scheifele and the passing of his father completely unexpectedly, whether it was early this morning or late last night. There's already a lot of chat about him over here. It's Larry saying mad respect to the Jets and Scheifele. They had a remarkable season and fought hard. Curse of the President's Trophy strikes again. Ryan Gardner also saying hearts out for Scheifele. Natalie also saying, I feel bad for Scheifele. My initial reaction was I was super excited and I was very happy about the Harley goal. And I stood up, I cheered, I was yelling, I was screaming. And then I saw those camera shots of Scheifele just hugging, and especially the one with Hellebuyck. That broke my absolute heart.
That was heartbreaking. Yeah.
Yes.
So condolences to Scheifele and his family and everything. But for Mark, what a game, man. I mean, that had to have been the best game he played in the series. He was all over the ice. He could have scored 3 tonight. He was incredible. The only reason he gets the penalty call is because he's the only one back there. That's literally the only reason. So, I mean, he played an absolutely amazing game. It was awesome to see, really.
And, this was one thing that everybody can kind of get behind, honestly. It didn't matter which side of the hockey world you are from, you could get behind a guy like Mark Scheifele and him having to go through something like that, especially in a super emotional Game 6, crazy important in order to try and force the series to go back to Winnipeg. But seriously, hats off to him, and prayers to him and his family. And all those who are seriously affected by the tragedy of the loss of his father. And his father was not all that old either. I think his father was only 68, if I remember correctly. So it's not like and it was very unexpected too. So it's not like it was, they saw it coming or something like that.
Yep.
So
prayers for him and his family.
Well, with that being said, oh my goodness, Thomas Harley. Oh my goodness, Thomas Harley. Oh my goodness, Jake Oettinger. Oh my goodness, Miko Rantanen. Like there was not a bad player on the ice tonight, in my personal opinion. There was not a bad player on the ice tonight. And same thing for the Jets. Like, holy smokes. Wow. Like I just kept, especially that third period, man, just going back and forth between just all of the chances that both of these goalies were having to face. We saw the best of Connor Hellebuyck tonight. We 100%.
Oh yeah, that was the best game. Even the shutouts, I think that was the best game.
Yes, and that was the guy that won the Vezina Trophy multiple times and is going to win it again this year. Like and the Stars beat him. That's the crazy thing, is the Stars beat him and they were able to take care of business here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the Stars played a fantastic game. They deserved to win that game from the start. I mean, that first period might have been the best 20 minutes of hockey we've seen this team play, period. It was fantastic, and they just couldn't get the puck in. So we'll talk about a little bit more why that might happen a little bit later on. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Top to bottom, this was a fantastic game from the Stars. They deserve to win.
Let's pull up Mike King's super chat over here. Thank you, Mike, for the 1999.
Thank you, Mike. I love you.
1999. I like the ploy there. The year the Stars won the Stanley Cup. Let's go. Fought hard and got the dub. Feel for 55 on the other side. It was a great series. Yes. And I don't hate Jets fans. I normally you go through
not
a
like
series
Avs fans.
Yeah, and you get like a little bit of a twinge of hate, towards the team or whatever. Even in the Seattle series from a couple years ago, there was that little twinge of hate in Game 7. There was none of that with the Jets, and probably some of that has to do with the Mark Scheifele stuff too. But throughout the series, it was very cordial, and when I love Winnipeg fans, that they have been nothing but cordial and talking hockey with, and they didn't try to like gatekeep their sport or anything like that with us, hockey folks down south here in Texas. So
that's true. Actually, I didn't see any of that really.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of that going on there though, Chris. But let's talk specific storylines here, Chris, because one of the biggest ones coming into the series, obviously, was the play of Connor Hellebuyck and the play of Jake Oettinger. With this being closed, this series being closed, the chapter, at least for now, Winnipeg and Stars, Hellebuyck versus Oettinger, is Oettinger the best USA goalie in the world right now?
Yeah, I mean, he showed that he can step up in the clutch moments, and that no matter how good Hellebuyck played in this final game, he showed that he is not consistently able to step up in clutch moments the way Otter is. I mean, I don't think that means Otter's for sure starting Game 1 of the Olympics, but he's for sure getting a look, and maybe Helly's getting pulled a little quicker too. So we'll wait and see what happens when we get there. But to me, Otter proved he's the best U.S. goalie when it comes to the crunch time.
I was talking with Savannah of D21010 Sports, and she does a fantastic job over there. And actually, Michael Dixon of The Ticket earlier today, we did a preview show, and that was one of the things that I wanted to point out about when we were doing a preview for Game 6 here, was just the fact that Oettinger, despite all the things that he has gone through and how good he's looked at points in his career, this is the best playoff run, in my opinion, in his career that we've seen him on, because he's been consistently good. And on top of that, he has made ridiculous saves. And on top of that, he has elevated his game as the series has gone on. So not only are all, the first two true, but the third one, especially when the games really mean even more, he is super clutch. And that right there is an example of why I think he, gets some early consideration for a Conn Smythe type trophy if the Stars see some silver here at the end of this cup run.
Yeah, It's a good argument.
What's something else you want to jump into, Chris? Because I could jump into a whole nother tangent here, but let's go down a hole you want to go down first.
Well, then let's go down the holes then, because I've got a couple of grievances with this game, because this should have been a blowout for Dallas. That's how good they played it. The lack of shooting on a netminder who's proven himself to be shaky was just flabbergasting. I know he's the best goalie in the world. I know he's going to win the Vezina, and he probably should win the MVP for the regular season. But you have to hit the net. You can't miss as many shots as these guys did all game long. And yeah, it was the first period, but it was the third too. I mean, the third period was maybe just as good as the first period for the Stars. And they got like no shots. I mean, it can't happen, especially when we're going to go play the Oilers when that's their weakest link is the goaltending. You have to test it. You can't let them off the hook.
That is a very good point. And now looking ahead, we can do that. In the fact that we can even hamper on it even more. But especially with Chris, with the shots that we saw from the Stars, there were a lot of missed shots. I think at one point in the second period, the shot attempts were 30-13. And the Jets had more recorded shots on net than the Stars did.
Yeah, and it wasn't blocks. The Stars missed half their shots at that point in the game.
There were some blocks, but not enough to be. But there were twice as many missed shots. Yes, that is.
There wasn't 25 accurate. Blocks.
Yes, agreed. Yes. So I 100% agree with you that the Stars have really got to get more shots on net, and even if it's just creating a little bit of chaos around the net, moving forward around Skinner or Pickard, whoever it is, that will be good.
And I think part of the problem with that, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it because I haven't been on for the last two games, is the 11-7. I get why he likes the 11-7, so he can move Mikko around and make sure the Jets aren't prepared for him being on the ice. But there's no chemistry, it feels like. And then on top of that, removing a lot of the chemistry that can be created on a forward line, it takes him off of that top line every once in a while, because when you're rotating those wingers, he doesn't get to play with Rope and Granlund on every single shift, which is just a big loss with how good they've been. I really don't like the 11-7. I think after Petro's game, if a Stars player did play bad tonight, it was probably Petro, and he was less than 10 minutes on the ice tonight. And with how good Heiskanen played, he ended up with 23. I think that's the end of the 11-7 experiment. But either way, it should be.
See, look at you and Harrison were like on the same wavelength there.
Let's go.
I mean, Harrison. Like within seconds of you saying that, he put this up. So Harrison saying Miro played 23-30 tonight. They will go back to a traditional set after tonight. I tend to agree with that. Absolutely. But at the same time, I thought they were going to go with a traditional set again here tonight, and I was wrong.
Agreed.
So, I mean,
but now it's like last game. It was like, okay, Miro's getting better. He's starting to look like himself. Tonight, that was Miro Heiskanen. I mean, I didn't see a difference between 100% Miro and what we just saw. That was insanity. And oh my goodness, I forgot how fun it is to watch that guy skate with the puck. It is insane. He is awesome.
Well, even now, like right now, he looked different. Even before the injury, he wasn't doing a lot of that in the regular season before he got injured back in January. And I mean, I don't remember a whole lot of opportunities where he was doing that. He was doing it sometimes, but he was focusing way more on the defensive side of the game again, which is fine. But we saw numerous times tonight where he just blew by guys.
Yep.
Like he used his speed, he used his skating, which is his best attribute, and he made Winnipeg Jets look stupid. And it wasn't because they were being stupid. It's just because he's that ridiculously fast. He's able to keep up with guys like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and stuff like that.
And I really wonder if it's the comfort of playing with the new and improved Thomas Harley. I mean, that's the second most played pairing tonight was Harley Heiskanen. And I mean, he's been watching how good Thomas Harley has been since he's been hurt. He might feel more confident with Harley back there to get up the ice and make those crazy plays that we saw him make in those first 2 years that he was with the Stars. Because that's what some of that looked like. Just the reckless abandon, like, let's just get up the ice and make something happen. That's what he was doing. So who knows? Maybe that's the future of that crazy good top pair.
This pair is starting to remind me a lot of the Cale Makar, Devon Taves pair that Colorado has. and
I would
may
argue
even
no.
be
I think
better.
Thomas Harley's a way better two-way defenseman than Devon Taves is.
Yes, if Miro Heiskanen is to Cale Makar and Thomas Harley is to Devon Taves, especially on the number 2 level, Thomas Harley is much better than Devon Taves in my opinion. So I tend to agree with you there. Let's talk about Josh Morrissey for a second. A nasty little thing there. He kind of gets tangled up with Rantanen for a little bit. Rantanen goes down. Morrissey goes down, and Morrissey knew immediately that there was something wrong because he yelled out a couple of explicatives before he left the ice, and he knew something was wrong. And of course, there was something majorly wrong, and he didn't return to this game. How big of a blow was that for the Winnipeg Jets here tonight?
I mean, it was huge. I mean, the Stars score on the power play against the Jets' second PK unit, and they would have had a much better defenseman out there if Morrissey was able to play the first round of that PK. So I think it was a huge impact. And yeah, unfortunate to see that happen and to lose him in the game, but it made a big difference for the Stars on that overtime goal.
Okay, well, speaking of Thomas Harley, we should go ahead and discuss the goal because he has been one of the few Dallas Stars defensemen who have actually scored from the back end. He does it again here tonight, and he was speaking with I forgot her name, whatever her name is,
Leah Hextall.
Leah Hextall of ESPN, and she asked him, where does this goal rank in terms of top goals of your career? And he said it's number 1. It's not even close. So hopefully it doesn't continue to be his number 1. Maybe he can get one later on. Hint, hint. But I mean, how great was he tonight? And again, he does it in a clutch moment again, Chris, which makes him even more of a number 1 defenseman in my mind.
He was fantastic. I think him being so much better, like I said earlier, is part of what made Miro look so dangerous and feel comfortable to get so aggressive, getting up the ice and getting on the attack. And yeah, the fact that Miro started that first power play in the OT, I feel like was kind of an insult to Thomas Harley. And to see him come out and to score the goal after that too is just, I mean, that's just poetic. I mean, that's shoving it right into the coach's face. Be like, wrong decision, buddy. You should have had me out here earlier. We could have finished it 1 minute sooner.
It was a great shot. I mean, it was a perfect shot. There was a screen in front. I mean, Hellebuyck never saw it.
Hellebuyck fully screened by his defender. Like,
yes,
couldn't see a thing. Great screen. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, and and there was plenty of room on that. Was it the blocker side or was it the glove side?
I think it was blocker side, but yeah, I mean,
yeah,
Ellie's just trying to get as big as he could because he couldn't see a dang thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Nate G, real quick. I'm still right about Thomas Harley, Chris. Go Stars.
Yeah, Nate G said, don't sign a bridge deal. I said, yes, sign a bridge deal. Yeah, I was dead wrong on that one.
Well, moving forward, he is going to be an intimate part of the next series, and we'll get into that into our next intimate party. I mean, he's going to be huge because, I mean, if you've got Miro for Connor McDavid and you've got Harley for Leon Draisaitl, that's great. That's perfect. So the other part of this game that I do want to talk about is the Stars were able to reverse their issues with the special teams here tonight, and this can kind of go into a side tangent here about the officiating here tonight as well, but they take care of the business on the one opportunity that either team got here tonight. And that was the thing that absolutely killed them in game 5. So, I mean, that's got to be something that they can rely upon moving forward, especially in the next series.
Yeah. Well, PK didn't even find the ice tonight, so that was good. I think that was the first time we haven't at least taken 2 penalties, let alone not taking 1. Well, I guess Ben did have the high stick. They just scored on the delayed call, so that doesn't really count either. But yeah, I mean, to score on the 1 power play tonight was great, and it was dangerous the whole way through too. And that's been a bread and butter for this team in the playoffs. Power play has been so consistent, and now that Miro's back and at 100%, to have 2 of the best puck moving defensemen in the NHL lead both of your power plays, that's disgusting.
And it's going to continue being disgusting until, Edmonton can figure it out. And that's going to be something we'll talk about in our next episode, where that's something that dried up in the series last year against the Oilers. And what can the Stars do, and that's different for this year compared to last year, other than Miro Heiskanen, or Mikko Rantanen, excuse me. Like, what's some things they can do differently that they didn't do in the series last year? But
hint, it's power plays.
Yes. Yeah. And then the other thing about all of that is, I guess we shouldn't have been surprised by the lack of calls here tonight, because they were trying to let the boys decide it here tonight. The trip at the end of the third, should that have been a penalty shot?
Yes, undoubtedly. I mean, that's a penalty shot every day. They didn't call it because of the situation. Honestly, I think it's a pansy call. I mean, I know you don't want to have a penalty shot determine the series, but that's the correct call. So instead of making the correct call, you chose to make a wrong call because you were scared. That is wimpy stuff. So
But at
I'm
the
glad
same
the Stars made it not matter, but that is a penalty shot every time.
But at the same time, you only get one opportunity on that penalty shot.
I'm not saying
with
do I
the
want the
power
penalty
play,
shot.
you can
I'm
have
saying is
multiple
it a penalty
chances.
shot? It's 100% a penalty shot.
Okay. Well, maybe moving forward, when something like that does happen, they can actually give the coach and the team the option of whether they want the penalty shot or the 2-minute power play, because it can change depending on the situation, right? So, like, I mean, like, in some ways, it was beneficial to us to get the power play rather than the penalty shot, because I mean, there was no guarantee that we were going to score on that penalty shot.
Hindsight's 2020. Yeah, there's no guarantee you're going to score on the power play after a penalty shot isn't called. So hindsight 2020, of course. Yeah, we don't want the penalty shot anyway. But no, I think you want a penalty shot. That gives you a way better scoring chance than most power plays are going to give you.
Other thing I wanted to throw in here at you, Chris, is the officiating. Were you surprised that there was not more calls in the game here tonight?
No, especially after last game when Wes McCauley went ballistic on the whistle. He's calling everything he saw. So I think it was right that we saw a overcorrection to no calls in the game. Of course, I was upset throughout the game, but after the game is over, they were consistent. That's what I always say. They have to be consistent, and they called the ones that they had to call. I mean, Jamie Benn hit someone in the face with a stick. You got to call it. Scheifele tripped somebody who was about to have a breakaway. Got to call it. And they called those two. And other ones, I mean, the Marchment one, I feel like is a got to call it, but they were consistent at least. That's what I'll say.
There was one particular play in the third period that I was very upset about, was when Ben was tripped up, and it led to a 3-on-2, rush chance for the Winnipeg Jets. And I thought that, like, in that moment, when you see that there's going to be a scoring chance the other way, and the reason why it happened is because of a trip and a legit penalty, that's something that I feel like you have to call too, just like they did at the end of the third period.
That's the main argument that I always think of when people say you don't want the refs to decide it. Well, not calling a play like that and giving a scoring chance to the team, that's the refs making an impact on the game. So, I don't know. They were consistent at least, so I'll give them credit for that.
And speaking of making things not matter, Otter does make the save on that particular rush chance. And then the rush chance even later that was even bigger was it was a tic-tac-toe play.
Wide open net. And he double clutched, right? So he wasn't ready. And then the Winnipeg player also, I forget who made the shot. Appleton double clutched and gave Oettinger enough time to get over to make that ridiculous save. Not really. He just dove back. He didn't get over at all.
Cooper and I both looked at each other. We were like, how did that not go in?
I was dumbfounded. I mean, my wife was laughing at the face I was making because I was just in complete and utter shock.
Yes. Like, and then that just added to the legendary status of this game, Chris. Like, it is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, we've had two pretty fantastic closeout games in these past two series. They were both awesome.
Like, and it's like, and like the way that it happened is just absolutely ridiculous. And like, this game was more even keel in terms of, obviously the score. The Stars should have had this game wrapped up in the first period, in my personal opinion. But
Yeah.
they were ridiculous in the first and the third. They were getting chances left and right. We already talked about the fact that they were missing shots left and right. And obviously, the biggest one of all of them was the Sagan backhand. I don't know if you want to call it a fan, but he just didn't get all of it, and he sent it wide. And man, I was really. It's a lot nicer now knowing that we won the game, but I was just like, I really hope we don't have to look back on that chance and be like, oh, that's gonna, haunt our memories for the next couple of weeks here or whatever. But what did you think about the Stars, offensive game overall? Did you think that they deserved a better outcome than what they got here tonight?
Yeah, they definitely did. I mean, they should have scored at least 4 goals. Their expected goals was like 3.7 or something like that. The Rantanen one, how does that not go in? Granlund gets stopped with the scissor kick on the pad with the backhand, not able to elevate it enough. I mean, these were some of the insane saves that Hellebuyck was making, so you got to give credit to him. The other thing I wanted to mention is that Miro Rantanen, again, this is going to get us back into the 11-7 talk a little bit, so we'll try to avoid that. But he finishes the game with 24-23 time on ice, just 30 seconds less than Harley with 25 minutes. I mean, that's insane. I know he's an amazing player and all the things, but he's good. I feel like he's going to be so much more effective when we go back to 12-6 and he's allowed to play still mostly on that top line and then get the ever so often shift in with the fourth.
Well, see, I don't know. I really don't know about that though, Chris, because he's been ridiculous. Yeah, the points haven't been coming his way the last couple of games or whatever, but
last 3 games.
Yeah, I guess that kind of tracks out a little bit because that's basically when they started doing it. But I mean, he's a superstar. That's what you do when you've got it. And credit to Pete DeBoer for using him in that way. What he's used to. He's used to having that much ice time. Maybe not quite that much ice time, but he regularly was around 21 to 22 minutes in Colorado, and that's something that Pete DeBoer has kind of changed his philosophy on with Miro Rantanen because he's been so dominant.
You definitely have to use him more than Pete DeBoer is used to, and he's done a good job at adjusting to that. That's where I'll give him the most credit, is that he doesn't like doing that. That's not his philosophy. So
but maybe not 24 minutes.
Maybe, but not 24 minutes.
Maybe 21, 22 minutes.
Right. He needs to be sitting around the 20-minute mark. And honestly, I'd like to keep him under it still, just to give him the most energy and most pop. I mean, it might have just been in my head. It felt like he was having a tougher time getting loose on rush chances tonight. And I think that's part of playing so often. I don't know that for sure, but that was just a feeling I had.
Good time to bring this super chat up. Nate G, can you fellas
Nate
welcome?
G, you're beautiful.
And Chris loves you on a deep and intimate level. Can you fellas welcome and shout out my dear friend Madison, her first time in the chat and one of many on her conversion to Stars fandom.
Hey, Madison, welcome to the bandwagon.
Welcome to the cult that is Dallas Stars hockey. We always have cookies over here, and welcome to the dark side. But anyways, once again, Madison, welcome here. You're always welcome here, and we'd love to be a part of your journey as you continue your Dallas Stars fandom. The only thing about that, Chris, though, is with the whole Miro Rantanen thing, is I'm afraid if you take more ice time away, that's going to make him less effective. And at the same time, the stats don't prove that.
You're right.
Because
that's exactly what I was about to say.
Right. So, but like the logic in my brain and the way that I watched him play the last 3 games, believe that. And it's fully the eye test. There's no stats for me to say to back that up that when you play him 24 minutes, he's more effective. But it just something for a little while. It just took Miko a little longer before he just absolutely opened up and exploded halfway through that first Colorado series.
Right, but he wasn't playing 25 minutes a night in the first series or in the beginning of the Jets series. So why are we changing when he's on a roll?
But because they went to the 11-7. We're trying not to go back to that, but we keep going back to it. We're trying not to. But I do think they go back to 12-6, the traditional format, and
which is why we need to stop talking about it, because it's going back to 12-6.
I swear I'm really not trying to go back to that.
I just feel like that's the biggest conversation here.
And we'll talk about this too. They could always just bench back for an extra shift to get Miko out there for the fourth line. Harrison, right. Alexander saying that.
That's what's going to happen.
And they have done that. That like, but maybe you do, Beck with a shift, Rantanen with a shift. You just throw them back and forth as you. Yes, but it didn't feel like they were doing that as much beforehand, if that makes any sense, right? It was maybe like
that's exactly what was happening when he scored the hat trick in game 1 of this series. So
that was a lot different circumstance, though. They needed some goals there, in my opinion. But okay, we need to show Drew. You're reading my mind, dude. Seriously. Okay, we need to give some love to our decor here. Which, as much as we don't want to see the 11-7 moving forward, all 7 of the defensemen, for the most part in the series, were excellent and played their role the way that they should have. Now I think we can say the reason why the 11-7 even happened, Chris, is because of the play of Alexander Petrovic. Like he
played himself into the lineup.
Yes, he forced the hand of the coaching staff to say, "You're not taking me out," and instead take one of the forwards out because I'm playing so well.
Yep.
Now there were some things that you could maybe, say, okay, maybe he needs to come out or
only
whatever.
Only this last game, honestly. Just this game. Even last game, I would have said Petrovic was still playing really well and just earning his spot. But this game, I didn't love him. But he was fantastic for so long for us, and to step in such a difficult spot after playing one game with the team before the playoffs. I mean, that's incredible.
Well, and the other thing about all of the decor in all reality was just, I mean, obviously we talk about Harley and we talk about how Miro he's kind of gradually gone up to where he's used to. He's gone from 13 minutes to 18 minutes to he played 23 minutes tonight, right, Chris?
He played 23-40.
Yes. So that's going to be something moving forward that we can more rely upon. And he's even said that he's felt a lot better as the games have gone on. And obviously he felt great tonight just watching him play. But then the guys that continue to get overlooked, those are the guys that you really got to give some love to. I mean, Cody Ceci, Asa Lindell, Ilya Lyubushkin, and Liam Bichsel. We talked about Petra a little being really good, but all 4 of those guys, man, like they deserve so much credit for how they've played in the playoffs. And again, this goes back to the Colorado series, but they have been a solid rock in that portion of the Stars game. When we looked at the beginning of the postseason, we said, okay, what's the chink in the armor that other teams can look at? And that's what, fair to do it. That's where everyone was looking.
Right.
Now you can't really do that.
Yeah, they made it not the case.
They have absolutely not made it the case.
For one thing, Petrovic held down the fort till Heiskanen comes back. Now your top pair is Harley Heiskanen. That's one of the best in the NHL now. It's fantastic. I mean, CC and Lindell, I know the advanced analytics don't like them, and I get some of that with how they play, but it's lockdown. That's what they do. Like they have a lot of expected goals against them, but somehow they don't go in. And that's not a coincidence. I mean, with how long these guys have been doing it, that's no coincidence. And now with what Bichsel and now I think Lyubushkin on that bottom pair are going to be able to do with the physicality on a team that doesn't do it a lot. But every time Bichsel's on the ice, he's only out there for, I think, a little over 10 minutes tonight. He was out there. Every time he was on the ice, he brought the physicality, and you noticed him bring the boom. And that's what you need for a team that typically doesn't do that.
And, I would like to see both of those guys get a little bit more ice time.
I don't know.
Like,
I think they're protected well. I think the coaching staff is doing a good job. I mean, I've liked what they've been doing, but part of the reason why I've been liking them, I think, is because they're playing against some lesser skilled players.
Yes, and that's fair. So I know we're kind of just assuming that Petrovic is going to come out of the lineup, but the logical, like you could make an argument looking at the decor and say that maybe Ilya Labushkin needs to come out because his ice time has been going down dramatically, especially when the Stars have been going 11-7 lately. And even I think there was one game he had like 12 minutes of time on ice or 13 or something like that. I don't think it was tonight. How much?
13.
See that and then CC I'm assuming would had around 19, 20.
Yeah, 1855.
Yeah, so it was pretty close. So yeah. So you could make an argument for that because if Liam Bichsel is effective as he is because he has Alexander Petrovic on his other side and he's comfortable with that guy, that makes Petrovic a little bit more valuable in the Stars coaching system.
That would be stupid in my opinion. I think that would be really dumb.
And Harrison also saying, don't overthink it. Bush is just a better version of Petro, and we'll play with Bichsel.
Right. That's exactly what Ilya Bushkin is. He's just better Petrovic.
Yep. And I have one other thing, and then we'll do biggest winner, biggest loser, Chris, if you don't have anything else. But I do want to mention that the line of Duchesne, Ben, and Sagan were absolute legit tonight. I mean, Ben probably played his best game of the series, if not the playoffs. And there was a game he scored a goal in. Sagan is just snake bit, dude. I mean, he has had some huge chances at prime opportunities, and they have just hit the post. I mean, he does it again tonight. He hits the post. So there's going to be, at some point, one of those is going to go in for him, and it's going to be a huge goal for this team.
Yeah, they definitely got way better as the series went along. I mean, to start, I thought that line was just horrible. But they got better and better as the games went along. And especially for Ben tonight, I liked how physical he was playing. And just every time he's on the forecheck, he's finishing the check. And they scrapped for the puck hard on the forecheck. And you really need to do that, especially when you don't have the speed to get in there early. So that line definitely got better and better. Hopefully they can get one quick in the next series so they can start contributing a little bit more.
And that's where I'll go the negative on just a little bit is that they really need to get some execution out of some other guys, right? They've been able to rely upon the heroicness of Oettinger and of Rantanen to do much of the work with a little bit of help from Granlund, Hintz, and those guys. But if the Stars are really going to beat this team that we're fixing to face on Wednesday, by the way, puck drop at 7:00 on Wednesday, they've got to have more contributions from Marchment, from Robo, from Duchesne.
Well, great start tonight. Sam Steele and Thomas Harley. Those are two guys you put on that list too. I mean, that's great for those guys to get on the board.
Yes, but what I'm saying is like those middle six guys I think are really going to be key. And those fourth line goals are awesome when they happen. And you really needed it tonight because otherwise you don't even get to overtime. But those middle six goals is what makes you a better team with your offensive depth over the Edmonton Oilers. And the Edmonton Oilers, they don't look like they have offensive depth, like when you look at the names on the roster. But that's not the case when you look at the stats and what they've had. Yeah, they've had a lot of huge contributions from their two big guys, but they've got like goals from like Connor Brown. He's got like 3 or 4 goals in the postseason. So not a guy that you would expect to have 3 or 4 goals. So they've kind of spread the offense out a little bit, and the Stars need to do a little bit of that moving forward.
Relative to what the Stars have done, the Oilers have played some pretty bad teams. So
I don't think there are any bad teams in the playoffs, Chris. That's my personal opinion.
There was last year. Yeah, those Capitals were nuts.
Yeah, there is some truth to that. So, and I guess we'll do our. There is one question I do want to ask you about tomorrow night. Can I ask you about tomorrow night real quick?
Sure.
Leafs, Panthers, Game 7. Everybody knows what the deal is with the Toronto Maple Leafs and Game 7s, and they're playing against Brad Marchand still, and he's in New Jersey. Do they finally do it tomorrow night?
I mean, fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, shame on me. Fool me 4 times, shame on me. I mean, you can't bet on the Maple Leafs with how many times they have messed it up like this. So I'm going Panthers, but like this has got to. I mean, with how many times the Leafs have been in a situation like this, you feel like just luck is going to happen at some point. But no, I'm still betting Panthers.
They were impressive in Game 6. I don't know if you got a chance to watch Game 6, but
I did.
That was the most impressive 2-0 win I think I've ever seen any team play.
But it's Game 7 and it's the Maple Leafs.
Yes, and that's where it doesn't matter anymore. Right. Right. So
if you said before the series happened, Game 7, Panthers Leafs, you're saying Panthers every single time.
Yes, Panthers in 7. Yep. Okay, biggest winner, biggest loser here tonight, Chris. Who you got?
Biggest winner is Thomas Harley. I mentioned it before, but getting pulled from that first unit to start the OT, I get it from DeBoer. I mean, Heiskanen was outstanding tonight.
Ridiculous.
He was unbelievable. So I get the move, but man, Harley makes you look stupid for that move after what he just did. And honestly, maybe that's the thought process too. Maybe he's thinking, man, Harley's going to go out there second unit. They're not going to know what's about to hit him. But yeah, Harley proved that, no, he's still the number 1 power play guy. Even when Miro's back to 100%, he's the man. What a shot. What a goal.
I'm going to pull a Harrison on you and say you're just overthinking things, Chris, there. That's not what happened.
Maybe.
He just saw the wheeling and dealing that Miro Heiskanen was doing throughout.
It's 4D chess.
Yes, exactly. It just overthinking it too much. Okay, Sheldon. Great job, Sheldon. For me, it's got to be Jake Oettinger. I mean, again, I know Mikko Rantanen deserves a lot of credit, and I keep saying it. Jake Oettinger deserves the Conn Smythe if this team wins the Stanley Cup. That's my personal opinion, and he is just ridiculous. He has been absolutely ridiculous every single game. When the Stars have needed a huge save, they've gotten it from him. When they don't deserve the saves, they're getting it from him. Like, and I don't even know what his save percentage now is, right? But I would bet it's over 920 for the postseason. Because I mean, it was I think if I remember, it was like at 912 or 914,
something like
before
that.
the game. But again, and it's, even though he's giving up like bunches of goals, sometimes it's not his fault. There should have been more of bunches of goals in those games. So he deserves my biggest winner, hands down, and just alone for that save in the third period on Mason Appleton. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I could not believe that did not go in.
And yes, the Stars have a chance for redemption against the Oilers, but I feel like Oettinger is going to feel even more of a chance to get redemption after what he did last season in the playoffs. I mean, it's going to be fun to see.
And we have a series preview episode that we will be doing here over the next couple of days. We need to hash out the details. We didn't do
biggest loser.
I know. I'm not done.
I thought you were rapping. I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't rapping.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Plugging it. You ruined it, Chris. Dang it. Okay. Anyways, we'll probably shoot it for Monday would be my guess, but we'll figure out and hash the details out after we get off here. Who's your biggest loser, Chris? Who you got?
The biggest loser is Petrovic, because I think he did play himself out of the lineup here tonight, which kind of sucks. Him and Bischel were the ones on the ice for the one goal scored against. I think it was his man. He should have had Scheifele there on the ice. He's trying to break up the pass, but you want to go man on with the guy right in front of the net. So, yeah, Petro.
For me, it's Connor Hellebuyck. And I know it's not really fair for this game because he was
for the
amazing.
Series.
Exactly. That's where I'm going back to, is we finally saw his best. Like, this was his absolute best, even better than the 2 shutouts he had in this series. And I mean, now there's all the questions surrounding him, in that, is he still a big time goalie in the postseason? Is he going to be the starter for Team USA? I mean, there are all of these questions now with the fact that who is the better goalie between him and Oettinger? And Oettinger showed in this series that he is by far the better goalie, at least in the postseason.
It's weird because Helly has 3 great games. I mean, the 2 shutouts and then this game tonight, I mean, that's Hellebuyck. That's who you expect to see. when the playoffs started. But you're right. The other three, I think it's a big whiff for him. I think they're bad games where he gave up multiple bad goals. So yeah, the argument is going to be, what about these 3 games in the offseason for Hellebuyck? But I mean, I think the 3 that he lost are much worse.
Bigger, yeah. Well, and he got bailed out by his team in the first round. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, totally got bailed out by his team. I mean, they won the series. Well, he was off the ice.
Well, not off the ice, but like tied it up to allow him to make some big saves in overtime.
They scored 2 goals in 2 minutes with him off the ice to somehow escape with the win. Yeah. To me, they won it with him off the ice. Sorry for hyperboling. My apologies, sir.
The first comment that Cooper made as soon as he turned off the TV so that we could start this episode was, they're not winning the cup.
Oh, boy.
Zachary saying the biggest loser is the Jets media team for that horrendous song they made. Yeah. It's actually not a bad song. It's very catchy.
That is a horrible song.
No. Hold on.
That is an awful song.
Hold on. It is not a terrible song. It is very catchy, but it is extremely cringy. Like very, 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 very cringy.
If the song is extremely cringy, it is not a good song.
But even when, like, if you go and watch the video that they made with the song, it's even cringier. I'm like, I'm sorry, but no. Just no.
Keep me out of Canada, bro.
That's a good one. Okay. Anything else, Chris, before we wrap it up here tonight?
Terrible music take, Ryan.
Hey, I am the music guy here, okay? Not you.
Nope.
Yeah, it's me. I am the music.
Not anymore.
Thank you guys so much for following along with us live. There's even more of you who are listening afterwards, whether you're doing that on YouTube or on the audio side. If you're doing it on YouTube, please click like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you never miss an episode of Starcastic Remarks. We're over 800, Chris. Like, that's how crazy.
We're getting there.
Like, we started the postseason with like 600, and we're now over 800. So thank you guys so much for doing that. Seriously, thank you so much. And again, if you're listening on the audio side, 5-star review, please. That helps us grow on the audio platforms as well. Thank you to our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. THPN is that promo code. StarcasticRemarks.com is the website. I'm sure we'll be doing a couple of blog posts up there here soon over the next couple of days to try and get you guys ready for the 3rd round of the playoffs. Stars taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Alongside Chris, my name is Ryan. We will catch you guys on the flip side. We hope you guys have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. Chris, what have you got?
Thank you for the super chats, and especially for Ryan. He's the big daddy. GG, boys.